Hello friends, we're going to do a quick port review for Valkyrie Elysium. Now you're probably expecting this to be one of those train wreck port reviews where I just rag on the port and tell people to not buy it. This actually is not a completely terrible port. There is one thing wrong with it that I haven't seen mentioned anywhere else. If you have this option on, then the game will stutter like crazy, it'll run poorly, it's just not going to be enjoyable to play. So what you want to do is go in here. Now I've got the game in pretty normal thing here. What you want to do is you want to turn upscaling off. For some reason, DLSS, I don't know if you're a PC gamer or not, it is supposed to improve performance while using AI upscaling to basically mitigate the visual loss that you'll see. What it does in this game is it makes the game run way worse, so you do not want it on at all. The rest of this stuff is pretty much up to your discretion. I don't like leaving these on. I don't like leaving the foliage on because it's hard to see. Ambient occlusion I don't care for. Other than that, I have pretty much everything on high. So when you get the game was actually on sale for half off, like a couple weeks ago during the sale. I just didn't make a video about it because I can't really recommend this game. It's got some problems. I'm hoping that somebody who watches this will see this and make a dodge cancel mod for it, but that's for another time. So you want to go in here and make sure that your upscaling is turned off. For whatever reason, if you put DLSS on, regardless of the upscaling quality, it will make the game run way worse. It will start stuttering. The stuttering tends to happen pretty much, I've isolated it to pretty much when there are particle effects on the screen, so when you or the enemies cast magic. Now, the problem with that is when you play this game properly, and when you play on like the harder levels and stuff, like you and the enemies will start casting magic constantly. So you want to just have that off. Otherwise, it's not going to be enjoyable to play. The port itself is okay. I'd say the other main problem with it is that it doesn't let you go above 60 FPS for some reason. I don't know why. I am using Universal Unreal Engine 4 Unlocker, which is a program I highly recommend. If you have a high-end PC and you play games above 60 FPS, but you get kind of bare bones ports like this that don't let you increase the frame rate. There's a number of games I could mention that actually have that feature, that don't have that feature, that would benefit from that. I've played pretty much all of them on this channel. There's this game, there is SD Gundam Battle Alliance. That game is very similar to this. It does have more options, but it doesn't let you increase the frame rate. You can go into this program and increase it to 144. I played about the second half of my time with that game. I played it with that on, and it is completely fine. Dust Diver 2 is another one as well. Now, it will not work with games that tie the game logic to frame rate. So a good example of that would be a number of fighting games that have come out on UE4 the past few years. So that would be most recently DNF Duel, KOF 15, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and Dragon Ball FighterZ. If you try to increase the frame rate on those games are fighting games, so if the game logic is tied to the frame rate, it will not work. The game will run at like double or triple speed. But on a game like this, it works completely fine. So I've pretty much explained everything. Let's just go into a quick side quest here. I think this is why you shouldn't excuse PC ports for not having higher frame rate if they're on this engine. It should work by default. Alright, so let's do a quick mission here.
laws decree your obliteration. My side, my noble Imperial.
Stand in our way.
Lance of flame.
Your might.
Everything's beginning to rise.
Got some stuttering at the start there. I think that's just shader compilation. You know, you probably hear that word a lot. If you're not a PC gamer, basically what it means is when they make a game for console and PC, they can compile the shaders a lot easier on console because it's set hardware. But Unreal Engine 4 in particular has problems with shader compilations on PC, so for games like this it can be a problem just because the game will stutter a lot while it's trying to compile the shaders on the fly. Good example of a game that gets around this problem, even though it's not Unreal Engine 4, would be Monster Hunter Rise, which has a very good PC port. What that game does is it compiles the shaders at the start. So you get like a pretty long initial load time. You know, if you played Grand Theft Auto when you were a kid, remember how long it would take to load? That's basically what it's doing, is it's compiling the shaders so that when you're in the middle of gameplay, it's not like you're trying to dodge a monster attack and the game stutters and you get killed. Obviously, for an action game, that kind of thing doesn't work.
An attack worthy of praise.
I've done my part.
Fire alarm! Lance of flame. To my side, my noble Imperial fight. My king is here. I have done as I was bid. Fire alarm!
Alright, so there's some quick gameplay. Apologies for the stutters. It's nothing wrong with the computer, it's just the game. I haven't played this much since I last updated my video drivers, which is one of the reasons why people don't like shader compilation issues, because generally the shaders had to be compiled again if the video card is upgraded, or even just as minor as updating your video card drivers. What that means is that when you get to the part where the shader needs to be compiled, the game will stutter. You notice after that it stopped doing it. Shader compilation is kind of a meme. It's one of the things that it's a very valid complaint if you're a PC gamer. A lot of games are on Unreal Engine 4 and they stutter a ton. There are some games that don't. As much as I didn't like Tales of Arise, I can't praise that port enough. They did an amazing job porting it. It has arbitrary frame rate or high frame rate support, and barely any shader compilation problems or stuttering at all. And then you get games like this, where this actually is the best version of the game, but you have to go out of your way to make it that way. You have to use Unreal Engine 4 Unlocker, which is something that you have to load every boot. It is not permanent, so if you get annoyed having to load up a bunch of programs to play a game, just like you're, powering up in the, what's it called, the Chamber of Time, for Dragon Ball, then you're going to get annoyed doing this. But if you turn off the DLSS upscaling completely and use Unreal Engine 4 Unlocker, you can get a pretty stable 144 FPS in this. It's not really taxing anyone's computer at all. From what I've heard, the PS5 version stutters quite a bit. I guess that's just because the game is poorly coded, but you can get around that on here. I don't know if I can really recommend this game regardless. The combat is very stiff. If I know anybody who works with Unreal Engine 4, and would be willing to make a dodge cancel mod for this game would actually probably be quite fun, but it's definitely a struggle. Your character is very stiff, and I've gone over this before, but there's your little PC port review. I think if you want to play this game, it's probably the cheapest on PC. I guess the game didn't do well, and they didn't update the port at all. You would think that having a feature in the game called DLSS, which generally in pretty much any other PC game you buy is a very good thing that you want to turn on, because it will give you, dynamic resolution scaling. It will give you upscaling as well, so that you can, basically will improve the performance while making the game still look nice. Normally in a game you want to turn that on, but here it's just a hot mess. So if you can look past that, it's actually a pretty good port. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you guys later. I just wanted to make this. I've had some people asking about it, and I know people were probably expecting a train wreck, but outside a little stuttering there, I think that was a pretty solid video. It didn't really drop frames anymore. If I went ahead and re-recorded this again, it probably would not do that because the shaders have been compiled, but that's just an Unreal Engine 4 problem. If you want to learn more about that kind of nerdy stuff that plagues pretty much every PC gamer, because Unreal Engine is one of the most popular engines in the world right now, then you can check out Digital Foundry. They made a very good video about bad PC ports lately. Those guys are probably a little bit better at it than I am. Thanks for watching.